Cool, I was feeling a little bit left out during the whole collective conversation, so I just want to know how many Nice Job users or customers have we got in the house today? Amazing. Good. That makes me feel a bit better. Okay, cool. Well, I think what we'll start is just to give each of you guys the chance to just, we'll go along the line and just give us a bit of a story about who you are, your business, and then maybe a little bit of an insight into your experience with reviews, maybe any struggles you had, how they've impacted your business just from a high level, and then we'll kind of dive into it for the rest of the conversation.
Wonderful. Well, my name is Christine Hodge. I am the CEO of Clearview Washing. We're based in Freehold, New Jersey. My husband is the president and co-founder. And when I joined the company about 6 years ago, we had, I want to say, less than 100 reviews. And we found that in using Nice Job, we were able to rapidly grow that number. We actually have almost 700 reviews now, and we only joined about 3-4 years ago. So my experience in the business as CEO is to manage lots of the operations. And something that goes with that is trying to get our guys to give reviews. So I don't know if anyone has tried to encourage their employees to get reviews, but it's very, very challenging. So Nice Job has really helped us with that journey.
Right on. I'm Dave Mormon. I was born very young, and I am here as the owner of, no one got my joke. I'm here as the owner, you like the joke, okay. I'm from Canada. And so I started a company 6 years ago called Revive Services, and we do exterior cleaning holiday lights. And something different about our business is we take 3% of our top line revenue and we donate it to build global water wells in Cambodia. So that's something near and dear to my heart. And we, first, I'm Dutch by background, so I'm like, if I can save a few bucks on monthly tech, I'm gonna find out how to do it. So we bootstrapped our way to about 150 Google reviews going Dutch. All my guys had a short link, they're texting them, it was kind of the Mickey Mouse show. We joined Nice Job about 1.5 years ago, we're now over 400 reviews. We'll get into how we're able to do that using software, and so it's been incredible journey. So we're not up here to try and sell you nice to have software. I'm just telling you like this works for us. And my company has been so much fun growing it that I also started a coaching business. I'm CEO founder here at Home Service Business Coach. We've helped hundreds of home service business owners get off this truck, structure their business. So very happy to be here, and it's going to be an incredible amount of value for you guys. So get ready to take some notes.
Awesome. Well, is this on? Okay, yep. My name is Colin DeHaan, and I have a national brand. Pardon me, I'm going to squeak a ton because I talked to 1 million people yesterday. But I have a national brand, One Way Exteriors, where we do seamless gutters. And right now we've got locations in 4 different states, 5 total locations. I started 7.5 years ago. I ran my business like a cowboy. Every dollar that came in was my money, and that's how I ran it. And then I learned about what business actually is and how to do that. So at that point, I actually had a Nice Job. I got a Nice Job. I started getting a ton of reviews, and then I got really smart, and I said, I can beat the system. My CRM can do automated text. I can do all this stuff myself. And I did that, and I went from getting multiple reviews every week to getting 1 review a month. And I just didn't care, and I was like, all right, cool, my business is still growing. I don't need this. And a few years later, we just joined back up with my Nice Job like 1.5 years ago. My first month with them, we 30x'd the amount of reviews that we'd gotten the month prior, right? So, pretty ridiculous how I don't know what their magic sauce is, if they're sending Chick-fil-A to every customer or what, but something that they're doing is working. And so, huge fan of Nice Job here, but just like David, right? We also donate a percentage to fighting human trafficking. We send a lady and they go and they do big searches twice a month, and they rescue 10 to 20 kids that are being sex trafficked. So, customers love that. I think that's something that they really, really get behind as well, right? Nobody wants to see that stuff happening. But then I also run Gutter Launch. Many of you guys saw it. Some of y'all wearing our shirts in here today. I see one right there. And we run Gutter Launch, helping people launch successful gutter businesses. We just had one that started his first month with 6 figures last month, also using Nice Job, getting reviews, right? Just like he's supposed to. So, yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Cheers, Colin. And I hope that those are going to be the last Nice Job pitches for the session. I can't promise it, but our aim really is to keep this as broad and general as possible, and just if I accidentally sneak in any more Nice Job plugs, then that's my bad, but we'll dive into it. So what I really wanted to cover today was, I think everybody's kind of got the picture from now. You know, Nice Job's been coming in for years. Everybody's kind of understands, like, I need reviews. That's something my business should be doing. But what Nice Job really cares about is this concept of reputation marketing. It's like, how do we get reviews away from being something that's just kind of like a vanity metric, or something that's a feel-good thing for your business? And how do we get it to be something that's really driving you forwards and actually means that your phone's ringing more, you're getting, you know, more customers, you're charging them more, all that sort of stuff. So that's what the concept of reputation marketing is all about, and we'll dive into what that means. We'll also kind of dig in a little bit into, like, what are some of the things that you guys all are doing that actually has helped you, you know, really kind of flip the switch in terms of driving an absolute crap ton of reviews? Because, you know, we have thousands of Nice Job users, and it runs the gamut of people that get, you know, like a few reviews a week, a few reviews a month, and then there are people like you guys who have hundreds and hundreds of reviews across all different platforms. So it'd be really great to hear kind of a little bit about how you do that. And then there's a few other bits that I want to cover, but also you guys, if you have any kind of burning questions, I'm going to pause about 10-15 minutes before the end and see if anyone has anything they want to ask. If you don't, we'll crack on, we'll keep going. But if you do have anything, don't be worried about asking us. That's all good. So the first thing I wanted to dive into was the direct impact that your reputation, reviews, and that sort of thing can have on your revenue. And, you know, I was thinking about this last night, and I kind of boiled it down to kind of 3 main things. One is new leads. The second one is actual sales and how you're converting them. And the third thing is, like, how much you're actually charging each of those customers. So Christine, starting with you, we had an awesome conversation last week, and you actually kind of showed me the stats of, like, how many people call your business because they found you on Google. And so I'm just curious to hear how you think about it as CEO, how you think about that customer journey from, like, how they go about seeing about your company, researching you, and then actually becoming a lead, and why you think reviews are such an important part of that process.
Absolutely. So, most importantly, I hope that everybody in this room tracks their lead source. By a show of hands, actually, how many do track their lead source? Okay, so that's a good number, and anyone who doesn't, it's very important to just ask the customer, how did you find us, and start tracking it. Before we had technology in place, we tracked this in a spreadsheet. So you do not need any fancy technology to be able to track this data. But what we have found is, on average, 53% of our lead source generation comes from Google. And something that, when, you know, if someone recommends a company, or somebody recommends anything, a restaurant, a cleaning company, literally anything, they're going to Google it. And the first thing that comes up, even before the websites come up, are the Google reviews. So it's basically the front of your business. So the first thing that somebody sees are those stars next to your company's name. And we truly found that no matter what incentives we gave our employees, it was very challenging to get a customer to take the time to leave you a review. And it's at no fault of anyone. It wasn't at the fault of our employees, because they were asking, and it wasn't at the fault of the customer, because everybody is busy, right? So there's power in the follow-up, the text message, because they don't want to answer the phone. Oh, they didn't answer the text message because they're an email person. So we were trying to manually create that and say, okay, after we ask them for a review, let's send them a text message 3 days later, and let's send them an email. And that's very hard to manually manage for a large, group of reviews. So the whole point is, When people Google something, the first thing they're seeing are those stars, and that's really the first insight they have of your company.
Here's a question, mainly for the audience, again, show of hands, because I did this last summer, but has anyone ever used the service and they look back at it now and they have no idea what the name of that company was, and they just because they found it online on Google? And my car broke down last summer, and I was in a bind. My parents were out visiting me in Vancouver. We were on Vancouver Island in the middle of nowhere, and something went wrong with the suspension. I had no idea who fixed that car. I went onto Google. I looked at the Google map. I saw one that had 4.6. I read the top 3 reviews, and I just called them. And so, obviously we want to build long-term relationships with our customers and get beyond that, but just in terms of being available for people to pick the phone up is obviously crucial. Now, Dave, one thing we discussed is kind of, again, like you can track your lead source, that's one thing, but then if you have like some sort of like a gut feeling for how many people actually call your business and say, it's because I read your reviews, like how often do you hear that?
We hear it honestly all the time. So when I got my cleaning business started, I only wanted one thing. I wanted it running without Dave in the day-to-day, so I can have more income and more time. And so from day one, I told you guys, we used the short loop, we text out. We got Google reviews very early on, and I'm probably going to hurt a lot of you right now. I don't actually think your customer really cares about you. They care about the result you provide and how you make them feel. So when you figure that out, you've got to actually go about building that connection with your customer. How many things have you guys bought on Amazon? You get an email, please leave a review, how was your experience? I don't think I've really ever done that. We as humans don't care about companies. We want the result they provide and how they make us feel. Here's the good news. Humans care about humans. That's why we're here. We see you guys, handshakes, hugs. It's that connection we heard about yesterday. So it's on you as CEO, business owner to figure out how to build that connection, that rapport with your customer. Because customers' memories are like goldfish. Oh, you cleaned my gutters, my driveway's clean, fantastic. They forget about you. So learn how to make yourself memorable and learn how to provide a result and learn how to get clients feeling great about you. And then ultimately refer it back to that connection. So to Oscar's point, every single day we get call-ins from our Google organic. How did you hear about us? Great point by Christine. Don't have an inbound phone call without finding out how you heard about us. Saw you on Google. And little FYI, we don't do Google LSA anymore and we don't do Google PPC. It is all from organic map.
Yeah, I want to touch on that as well. Make yourself memorable, all right? Something you can do, and this is a little hack. We do what's called a final serve in our company, where we'll take the leaf blower, we do seamless gutters, right? We'll take the leaf blower and blow out their landscaping, blow off their sidewalk, their driveway, after we collect final payment, all right? That's pivotal that you do it after you collect final payment. You don't want the last taste in their mouth being giving you money, all right? So we don't fire up the leaf blower until after we get the money. And then we do that, all right? A lot of our reviews, they reference that because that's the memory that they have of us. It's the last impression, all right? So, yeah, just want to touch on that. That's why you see a lot of 5 stars and 1 stars, not a lot of 2, 3, and 4s unless they're professional review people, right? So.
Cheers. Okay, so as I said previously, the one thing I think about is reviews can help drive more people to your business, like you guys just said. In terms of reviews being something that you can actually use to turn those leads into customers, like Colin, how do you incorporate kind of reviews into your sales process? Is there any way you inject it or you tell people, oh, go check this out and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're nurturing, right? They call in, you're not getting to that estimate in 5 minutes, right? There's going to be a time delay from the time they call in to schedule the estimate and you get there. So through all of our automations, we actually send them right to our Google, right? So they can see all of our reviews. We'll send them to our Facebook page so they can see all the recommendations, since they don't do reviews really anymore on Facebook. But we send them right to that so that they can see it, right? And then we'll even follow up with another text like, hey, did you read all those reviews, right? And we want to really push that on them, that they're reading what other customers are saying about us, even the 1-star reviews and how we respond to them. Right? Some of our favorite conversations come from customers who are like, man, I read that 1-star review. Like, that person must just be crazy because everybody else is 5 stars. You're right, they were crazy. And we just move on, right?
Yeah, cheers. And then the final point I was thinking about is just on the pricing element. And this, I put this into this session today just because the team and I, we were having pizza in Paisanos in that massive like Delta Big Tree bit a couple of nights ago, and there was this guy Matt who owned Squeaky Clean in Long Island, and obviously I was wearing this nice job T-shirt asking people to talk to me, and he actually did. And he's a nice job customer, and he was saying, hey, one of the things we've really noticed is that by having 195-star reviews or whatever he has, he can kind of charge his price, charge what he wants, and he can really stand behind that. And again, Christine, I know we haven't discussed it, I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but is that something you've noticed where you're able to charge more for your services because your reputation actually backs it up?
Yeah, so we are one of the premium companies in New Jersey. We know that we are on the higher side in terms of pricing because that is our business model, and we created a customer avatar. So I don't know if you guys have listened to, some other speakers say you need a customer avatar. You have to identify who your target clientele is. I know that I don't want the $3.99 soft wash. I know that I want the $2,000 soft wash. And who's going to add on the window cleaning, who's going to, sign up for the gutter cleaning maintenance plan. So that's our customer avatar. But you can't confidently do that and make that decision on behalf of your company unless you have something to support it. And it's very hard to find things to support it, right? You can put whatever you want on your website. But that's from you. I can call myself the best company in New Jersey. You can't verify that. So your reviews are the only way for other people to tell others what you want to tell others, where it's believable to a prospective client. So for us to have almost 700 reviews, and that's only on Google, if we are charging somebody $2,000 for a house wash, and our competitor is charging $1,400, but they have 1 or 2 reviews, we are going to get that job. We're very confident in that. So it truly is an organic way to build your online reputation and get those eyes on you. This other guy was cheaper. I didn't like how his sales rep looked when he came to the house. Clearview has 700 Google reviews. They only have 2 1-stars. And then I'm sure we're going to go into that later, of how you respond to the 1-stars, because you better be responding to the 1-stars. But it truly is the first glimpse of supporting why you're charging what you charge for your company.
I'll jump in on that. That's fantastic. Guys, to Christine's point, we ran an ideal client avatar for our business. Her name's Colleen Johnson. I mind mapped this so deep, income, where they vacation, what businesses they hire, because I interviewed Colleen. I showed my wife the avatar, and she's like, this is borderline creepy, how detailed this is, because the problem with this industry, a lot of you, it's very commoditized, okay? We all make dirt go away. $2,000 for a soft wash? They're not in business, Revive's not in business to service most of the market. We're literally honored to be best in class to service our ideal avatar. So a lot of this room, I would wager, does not actually know who your avatar is. And this whole discussion is all around how do you want to grow your business? You've got to build your brand. Pricing goes into perceived value, okay? I see Christine's 700 reviews. I am hiring that company. I'm a premium buyer. I don't want to deal with BS. Get it done. Great company for me, okay? So you got to know who you exist for. And again, I wanted my business to run, more time, more income. You got to go top of the food chain. I believe you got to go up market. You got to service the affluent, and you got to be among the premium price players. But the premium buyers believe you get what you pay for. So if you're taking notes, I would take your company upstream, stop competing on price, get reviews, and build more perceived value. It's not going to happen over a weekend, but you do this for 7 years like we've done. You look like Christine's done, Colin, the thing's going to start to snowball. So can't say enough. Reviews, marry the brand, marry perceived value. You win on pricing model. You can get into profit and everything.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to hundreds of people here, and I would say 75% of them are owner-operator, right? And you guys are fighting that right now. You're fighting the owner-operator perception for your customer, right? Reviews are a great way to do that. How you show up in the house, your vehicle, where you park your vehicle, right? What your vehicle looks like, how clean it is, how the wrap on it, right? All that stuff matters to your perceived customer. If you can show up, I don't care if you are owner operator, but you need to be, you need to look like you're not owner operator to your customer so that you can serve the affluent customer that these guys are talking about.
Thanks, Colin. And yeah, Dave, I do want to dive into that a bit, because one of the things that we like about reviews is when you think about your profit and how much you're spending to get your customers. Reviews and reputation is one of the most cost-efficient ways of doing it, right? And you shared with me a really cool way that you've looked at it for your own company when we spoke last week, and it'd be awesome if you could share that.
100%. So from day one, we started incentivizing our technicians. So we started $10 per technician per review. We run a 2-person crew. So every Google review, I'm in it for $20. We got 400, my math is right. We invested $8,000 to essentially build a culture around building this brand. I got probably the first 30, 40 by myself, and then so you can follow me on the example. We now have a ranking Google My Business in our area for our services. So you see a direct ROI. I did invest $8,000, but when you look at the hundreds of thousands of dollars of business that kicks us back every year, because a lot of you in this room, you flew out here, you want to scale your company, you got to invest in marketing, okay? I personally love 3 to 5% of your overall revenue to be in there. We're only able to do that with reviews and referrals. If some of you in this room like to pay 15% to marketing, probably need to go with the paid route, more expensive. So a lot of you guys want to bootstrap your way and build your brand with the referrals, with the reviews, and you do see a direct return. And I don't know if it was you, Oscar, but trying to quantify as owning a business when you have 700 Google reviews and you're top rated, that is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in what's called brand equity. So I'm a big guy, you put 8K in, I want to get a 10 times return. You do that with Google reviews, it's a slam dunk. The last thing I'll say, you're all in different markets, so I can't tell you if 100 Google reviews is good, okay? We got one guy in our coaching program, he literally put his services in his area, he's got 200 reviews, the other guy has 18, the next guy has 6. Well, I'm calling that guy. Others of you in more major metro areas, 200 Google reviews, that's kind of chump change, like we got to get it going. So, kind of vary, but essentially, people go to Google, you want to get found, and that's what we're talking about.
Thanks, David. One thing I will say is that this industry that you're all in is kind of perfect to play the reviews game, because to really kind of ratchet up the numbers, you really depend on how many customers you're seeing, the velocity of those jobs. You could, for example, right, you could be a real estate agent, you could sell 6 houses a year. And so it's really hard to kind of build that reputation. That's why they kind of reviews isn't so specifically good for that market. But if you're serving, hundreds of customers a month, you can very quickly make that impact. And Christine, I think that's why you guys were able to add, I was looking at your iShop account, and yeah, sure, you got 700 reviews on Google, you got over 1,000 across all platforms. And so the fact that you're doing 100 jobs plus every month really allows you to kind of to dial that up, and that's something everybody can really do. Obviously, provided you're operating at that scale. One thing I wanted to kind of move on to now is away from the kind of the direct impact of reviews on that revenue, and more to kind of the indirect impact it can make over time. And this is something Dave just touched on, and Christine, I'll ask you to kind of maybe elaborate on, is what having a culture of reviews really kind of does for building like a sustainable, profitable business over time. So tell me a little bit about how you kind of how you interact with the groups and the whole company, and maybe how you recognize people, and yeah, just talk to me a little bit about how reviews works internally.
Sure. So I don't know if anyone here attended me and my husband's speaking session yesterday. I see some hands going up, which makes me feel good. Thank you for being there, but company culture is our #1 priority at Clearview Washing, because we truly do, it wasn't just the title of our presentation, our people are our business. And when someone joins the company, we call it joining the family, it's a family business. They join the family, and they're all tremendously loyal, and you're not going to last at Clearview Washing unless your loyalty is with the family. That sounds so New Jersey for me to say right now, but it really matters to us. And we foster what we see is that our reviews reflect how we are maintaining our employee retention and keeping the employees with us as part of the family business. So we joke around all the time that we have a 5-star review, and it's, my windows are so sparkly clean, and Lou gave us the best pasta sauce recipe. And that's actually on our Google reviews. We have another one, and it was before Jim and Solomon left today. I wanted to give them a hug. So one time I was delivering hot hands. It was a day in March and it was freezing outside, and I went out and I got hot hands and I was delivering it to the crews because I didn't know it was going to be so cold. I would have called off the day actually. And I got to a job and Solomon was actually hugging the customer. So like, you know, we feel that our reviews reflect the family dynamic of our company, and that's a priority to us. So just like your customer avatar, you have to figure out, what do you want your company to look like, right? You don't have to follow any rules here. This is your company. You have the power to make it whatever you want. If you want it to have the family feel, if you want it to be warm and fuzzy, if you want to bring on girls, our lead trainer is a girl. Her name is Elizabeth, and she's a rock star. She has trained most of the men at our company in the field. So you can make your company look like whatever you want. And then what's interesting is you'll see your reviews reflect that. And that's how you know you're trending in the right direction, because your vision is coming to life on all parts, on all sides.
Nice. Colin, wow, my mind's not completely blank. We're back in the room. One thing that I'd love to hear about is how your kind of text, like, do you track whether or not they get mentioned in reviews? And then what I've kind of spoken to a bunch of business owners in the past, and one thing that I love to hear is when people are actually like, they're going out there and they're really trying to get reviews, because it's a really gratifying thing to be like, hey, I saw that this customer mentioned me. How does that happen in your business, and how do you kind of recognize that when it does?
Yeah, we absolutely push that, right? We incentivize every employee. If their name gets dropped, they get $50, right? So we do seamless gutters and roofing, and so we can afford to pay our employees a little bit more because we have a bigger ticket, right? So $50 per review if their name is mentioned, and it is like a war in there, right? Our sales reps, our project managers, our technicians, they are constantly fighting over who gets the most reviews and gets their names dropped, right? But so it's pivotal to them in our company meetings, right? Just bragging rights and who gets to be employee of the month and all that good stuff, right? And the park up front. So it's cool with the company culture, but what's really cool is when our sales rep shows up and he gets to pull up reviews that have his name in them, right? And so he gets to build his rapport with the customer, or the customer, you know, when the admin takes a phone call, like, okay, we're going to be sending Matt out to your house, and you're also going to get our Google link so you can read all the reviews. Look at how many times Matt's name is listed in there. That's who's going to be coming out to your home, right? So she kind of prefaces it with that, and then when Matt's there, right, he'll say, okay, well, Mrs. Smith, when you decide to go with us for this roofing or gutter project, right, these are the technicians, or this is the project manager who's coming out to your home, right? These are all the reviews of what customers are saying about him and how he cared for their home and blah, blah, blah. And the most beautiful thing in the world happens when they're like, man, I read the review. Like when you get a review that mentions another review, right? And, you know, I read all the reviews that had Aaron's name in it, and then I was so happy when my sales rep Matt told me that Aaron was going to be my project manager. And then Aaron showed up and he fulfilled on all of those other reviews that I read about him. And it's just really cool seeing that compound and build, and it just builds up our staff big time. They're superstars.
Now, jump in on that. Like, all of you have got a Google review, right? Your owner-operators, it mentions your name. You get that dopamine boost, right? Yep. Greg did such a good job cleaning the windows, so that feels so good. It's our job as owners to make the people our heroes of our company. And for us in the service business, that's our service technician. So you want those reviews saying, Conrad did a great job, Greg did a great job, Lisa totally revived my home, whatever it is. And so when we had 30, 40 Google reviews and Dave was getting off the truck and how do we build a culture around this, a lot of us got to inject more fun into our company. We would have a weekly team meeting where we read those reviews and we shout out our team members and we get their heads swelling up a little bit. You want a little bit of that gamification, that fun factor in your business. And a lot of us just keep it between our ears as owners. And so it's on us to kind of add that pizzazz to our company and take some of the fun out of our head and cascade that to our team. Because once you get 1 tech, 2 tech, 3 techs on fire for the Google reviews and you're reading them out, it's just this feedback loop. So that's how it's going to start to grow. The software is awesome, but if you're a bump on the log on the job site with a 7 out of 10, and I get 46 emails from Nice Job and 10 texts, I'm not going to leave a review. The fulfillment needs to be mind-blowing, and lead with that, and then get some personality in your text. Marry that with some software, that's the winning recipe.
Right.
So Christine's point, culture is everything.
Yeah.
So focus on that.
Yeah. Number one thing I hear from owner ops is nobody will care about my customers the way that I do. This is how you make that happen. When you build a culture and they are getting reviews and their name is now on the business, that's how they start caring as much as you do. All right?
Yeah, I'll tell a story just from a guy I spoke to about this time last year. His name's Robert. He owned a plumbing company out in San Diego, Good Guy Plumbing. And he, kind of like you guys, had this, I think it was like a group WhatsApp conversation or something, and they would throw out attaboys and well done's every time a review came in. And there was this one tech he had, this guy called Solomon, who was just crushing it. He had like over, Nigel has a leaderboard function in the app, and you can see how everybody's doing. And this guy had over 50 5-star reviews just for himself. And he would get phone calls from people who just read the reviews and were like, I want Solomon to come out to my house. And it's just such an amazing way to kind of really build up your employees and make them feel like you guys are saying, like the rock stars of the business, which is really, really cool. Dave, I just wanted to follow up on one thing just while you're talking about it, which was this idea of the human touch in terms of when you ask for reviews. And maybe we'll kind of transition now onto kind of like how you guys have managed to kind of separate yourselves in terms of getting to those crazy numbers. And I think one thing that I really like that you told me, Dave, which I think is why you convert such a high percentage of customers into reviews, is that it's not all just software driven. There is that kind of human element. It'd be great to kind of hear about how you turn that into an SOP.
For sure. So I think the most important time of the job is the initial client introduction. Okay, the crew gets there, they park, they go meet the homeowner. We've all heard in sales that you prime them and mention. There is some element of that, but really you're looking to build rapport and make a connection. The same way you go out and do an estimate, you don't start just slinging your quote right away. You need to ask questions. And so our crews are trained in how to have that initial interaction. Of course, we go through the scope of work, but we're building rapport, right? Asking certain questions and then saying, our goal is by the end that we gain your reviews and referrals, and we throw around the term local family business a lot. And so a GMB profile, a Google My Business profile, it really shows authenticity, okay? And so you don't want to have everything perfect. You don't want to be perceived that way. I believe you want to show that your company's authentic and that you're real people. So you get to the job site, let the guard down, and mention that review. But I still don't think that's enough. Again, the fulfillment needs to be excellent with your team, and then it goes into the closeout. And there's a lot of stuff going on in closeout. We made a 10-point checklist for all our crews, what we need to do on every job regardless of the service. So our client closeout is arguably as possible or as important as the client intro. And that's where we make sure they are happy. Colin's got a great point on that, +1, love that. We take payment and we let them know that link is coming for that Google review. We take Google reviews very seriously here at Revive. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for you. It's gonna take 45 seconds, maybe 60 seconds if you're a little slower. You're gonna get a link. We would love to see that, and we really celebrate them as a team. So there's no one-line sales in there. It's just the owner needs to care about that. you need to move that to your team, and then you need to give them a couple simple tools to win. And once you see, the most powerful thing as a business owner is momentum. Once you see 2, 3, 4 Google reviews coming in, just celebrate that with your team, because you don't get to 700 overnight. It takes some time.
Yeah, and Christine, you mentioned that review where the customer said, "Oh yeah, they shared that amazing pasta sauce recipe with us." What are you doing to kind of empower your crews to be able to deliver that really personal service to the customers that actually get them to say those things? Because it's one thing looking through a Google page and it's just like, yeah, they're on time, they communicated well, and they're a reasonable price or something. How do you get it to turn something where you actually you can read a review and you can really feel a connection with that business?
So for us, there are 2 components. One of them starts with hiring rock stars. So we believe we're a pressure washing, gutter cleaning, window washing company, and we believe that anyone can be trained to do those services. However, if I can't put you in front of the customer, which I will determine during our 2 to 3 step interview process, if I can't put you in front of our customer and get that warm feeling, if I can't put you in front of the customer and you're not going to represent us the way I'd be in front of the customer, you're not coming to Clearview Washing, no matter how desperate we are. I said in our talk yesterday, we could have used another 2 guys in the spring this year, and we interviewed and they were not rock stars. And instead of hiring them to, water the landscaping during the roof cleaning, we didn't hire them, and we went without the 2 guys. So you have to hire rock stars. The second component is giving them the confidence to ask for the reviews and to build that connection with the customer. And I feel as a business owner, it's your responsibility. You don't know what people are going through, right? And when they come to your business for employment, it is your responsibility to give them a safe space, build up their confidence, build them up as human beings. Some of them might be young, some of them didn't go to college and they needed a path in life, right? They needed a career, they needed some guidance. So you could be mentoring someone right now and you don't even know that. So you have to read those reviews, like David was saying, and give them the confidence, like you're a rock star. Do you see the review that you got last week? Keep that up, go ask for more, and you just have to keep up that momentum and build them up in their heads, because I can guarantee you probably have a handful of employees that are not very confident working for you. But through those reviews, and then with you cheering them on, you can create the employee avatar that you want. And I think that's very important.
Thanks, Christine. And I think just for the people here that maybe aren't using Nice Job or aren't using software in order to kind of get reviews, I will I'll just explain a little bit about the way that we think about it, the principles that you can just, no matter what you're doing, that I think will really help. And the 2 things I think you want to focus on is, 1, you need to make it incredibly easy for you or your team to actually ask for that review. So you want to make it something that's automatic, that's systematized. If it's an SOP or whatever, it's something that no matter what happens, it happens every single time. The one thing I think that's quite common that I hear is that some techs are great at getting reviews, some are terrible. That's not what you want. You just want it to be consistent across the piece, and you just want to make sure that you just ask every single time. As part of that kind of easy to ask, you want to make it really easy to follow up with people. This is kind of something, if I'm ever doing a presentation on my own, I quite often ask, hey, who in the room has ever felt, oh, I'm going to leave a review for this restaurant, it's great, and by the time you get home, you just completely forgot about it, your life's moved on. It's not that you hate it, you suddenly decide I didn't like the meal, I'm just doing something else. And your customers are exactly the same way. They've got a sparkling new home, and they look at it and they think this is awesome. And they could, within half an hour, they could have completely forgotten that they said they were going to write you that 5-star review. That's probably happening a hell of a lot of the time. And so these people need to be followed up with. And so it doesn't really matter how you do it. I would advocate against doing it manually, because we have a 4-step follow-up process. I don't know anybody that's got time to follow up 4 times with every single customer. But if you are going to do it, it's really worthwhile. It will make a difference in getting those reviews, because at the time that customer's found out, has got that 4th message from you, they're like, oh, I really need to do that. And a lot of people worry that they're going to bug their customers, and I don't want to piss them off, I don't want to ask them 4 times. And the reality is that that worry doesn't really manifest. We have thousands of users on Nice Job, and we ask every single customer 4 times to review if they Not if they've left a review, then we stop working. But anyway. And we don't find that they get annoyed. You know, they love you, they love your service, they love the value that they brought, and they know that by doing this, they're going to help your company out, and they just need to be nudged. So I would advocate for people to keep nudging.
Yeah.
So it's easy to ask for reviews. The second part is it needs to be really easy for people to leave them. And this is kind of like something that Colin and I were chatting about, because there's a bunch of different ways you can do it. You can ask them to leave video testimonials, you can get them to leave a feedback form, and if they give you 10 out of 10, then you can ask them to leave a review. Or you can give them like a number rating like that. In my view, and in Nice Job's view, you need to remove as many barriers as possible. If what you care about is getting the most number of reviews and ranking highly and getting that profile. The moment you add a step, which is like, hey, I want you to rank me out of 10, and if you go 7 or higher, I'll ask you to leave a review, that's just another chance for somebody to just drop out of the system. So whenever you ask for that review, I would just find a way of just driving them directly to your Google page, or directly to your Facebook or your Yelp, or wherever you want. And those are kind of the two principles behind how we build the Nice Job product. Run over. Colin, one thing that we discussed, which is kind of it kind of ties into this point about building a long-term growing business that's centered around service, that's reflected in reviews, is for you as a business owner, looking at what people are saying about your business and thinking, can I identify any opportunities to improve or rectify things, or adapt my service to what people really care about and what they're writing about. Yeah. And you told me an awesome story about this, so I'd love you to share.
Yeah. This just happened 2 weeks ago now, and I hired this sales manager this spring, or this winter, and he wrote an amazing sales process for us on the roofing side of things. His gutter side sucked, and we just did what I do for gutter, and that continues to work. But on the roofing side, we've really struggled with getting a closing rate where we desire it to be, right? We're running about 10-15% lower than what we wanted to have. And so me and my general manager have been hammering this out, like how can we increase this at this location? Something is off here. And we had the company meeting. This was at our headquarters, right? So I'm at the company meetings, and one of our project managers pulls up this review and goes, guys, I just want to share this with you guys. This is a customer that we just serviced. We just completed his roof last week. He had a custom order skylight, so we bought like 3 months ago. We had to wait forever for the skylight to come in. And so he reads this review. He goes, first I want to read the review. He left the competitor that he didn't go with. All right. So he read this review and essentially was like, the entire sales process was extremely scripted. He was at my house for 3 hours. He kept dropping his price, trying to get me to sign today, all these special discounts if he bought today. It just felt really, really salesy. I was comfortable with the product. I thought the product was really, really good. I just was not comfortable with the company. And then I was followed up with 10 times, and 6 of those 10 times, the exact same script was used on me, and I felt like I was just another number, that they had no idea who I was in that company, and that's not a company I want to do business with, all right? And so he left them like a 2-star review, all right? This was a competitor. They left us a review, and it said something along, I should pull it up, but it said something along the lines of, Matt was the most excellent sales rep I've ever had in my home. He showed up, he took note of my dog and his name, he took note of my daughter, even like playing with her, keeping her occupied while we were tending to the baby. He just genuinely cared about everybody in our home, everybody in our family, and it didn't stop there. As soon as that happened, Aaron, the project manager, got on, and he recognized a way that we could save about $3,000 on that custom order skylight, presented us that option, and saved us a bunch of money. We had already signed the contract. They could have just taken that extra $3,000 as a profit in the company. But that's how I knew this was an ethical company. And the entire time, he was there making sure everything was going good, double-checked, like, hey, I know you got a couple dogs. We're going to be ripping your roof off, and your yard's going to be a little bit of a mess. What time do your dogs go out so I can make sure we have a spot open so the dogs can go out in the middle of the day? Right? He's like, he just genuinely cared, and that's what I've experienced throughout this entire process with this company. And I was like, boom, my light bulb went off. Our sales process, it was so scripted. All right, it wasn't genuine, it wasn't caring like it needs to be, right? And so we made some changes that day, and we went out and we sold a bunch of roofs that week, right? We just by allowing our customers to be, or not our customers, our sales reps to be free to genuinely care about the customers like they want to. right? Forget the script, go out there and just, for lack of a better term, give a shit. That's it.
Dave, is that something that you've ever kind of, as a business owner, have you looked through, you know, because people like reviews coming in, it's great, oh, it's 5 stars or whatever, but have you looked through your reviews and found, right, okay, this is what people really value, and, you know, we're going to reflect that in how we pitch ourselves?
Yeah, 100%. I have a little tradition every week around Christmas. I actually make myself a cup of coffee. I read through every single Google review from the top. So it's taking longer and longer every year because you want to look for certain words that get mentioned. So for us, professional was a buzzword, friendly, and service. Those were really the big 3 that got mentioned. And so those of you, maybe you have 36 Google reviews today, let's say. Read them tonight, read them this week, read them on the airplane home. Might need internet for that, but find what the trends are, because the secret sauce of growing your company is hidden in your customers' language about your business. So learn what's in it for them. We talked a lot about affluent clients, right? One thing I will say with the affluent, they want 2 things. They want an experience and they want convenience, okay? So if you tell them they need another app or another website, or you confuse them, you're gonna have big drop off, like Oscar said. And then back to my previous point, experience. You can add in all the software in the world and the scripts and the checklist. To Christine's point, like if you're not getting to first base and actually training up a rock star that cares, like it's all just falling on deaf ears. So I think a lot of us in this room need to re-examine who's on our team. And I've talked with a lot of you, like a lot of you are only 1 to 2 rock star hires away from significantly changing your business and life. So if the staff of quality, high quality is not coming in, run short staff for a while, because you're going to be better with that than hiring someone that's going to do some brand damage.
Yeah. Dave, I'm about to blow your mind. Save you a ton of time for Christmas.
Yeah.
And get a guilty nice job plug-in. But you need to check out the Insights feature, man.
Okay.
We save you a ton of time. We'll list the top three like themes that come out in all your reviews. And we have machine learning that I do not understand that reads all the reviews, and it's just looking for kind of like, it's like natural language, and so it's not looking for the words, it's looking for like what the message is they're trying to get across. So yeah, thank you, Christmas.
Amazing. I love it.
Yeah, we don't miss you.
You know what's interesting, and it came to me when you were speaking about, giving your customer what they want, basically. And it makes me feel like, my husband referenced it as your customer's love language, right? So you have to basically speak your customer's love language. You want to make sure that who they're dealing with is somebody that they want to deal with. And the reality is, not everybody wants to deal with the same person. So like even before you get to the review phase, we make sure that certain people in our company are accessible, so that if a customer doesn't want to deal with my husband, for example, they want to deal with, they're like naturally gravitating to me. I'm accessible on LinkedIn and social media. So this is really good in commercial work. We found there are certain property managers who are a little bit older who will not work with me or my husband, but they will only work with my father-in-law. And so it comes way before the review phase, but it ties into it because you want to make sure that they're dealing with somebody they're comfortable dealing with. There are some young guys who will not deal with me because I'm a girl, or my father-in-law because he's older, so they'll only deal with my husband. That's okay for us. You have to be okay with it as a business owner. So if you have people in your company that you're comfortable being accessible, give them access on social media, see if they're comfortable with their cell phone being out, or give them a cell phone, whatever your policy is, but just make sure that everyone in your company is accessible so that your client avatar can contact whoever they want and get the same result. And that could lead to some outstanding reviews, actually.
So thanks, Christine. Right, I think we've just ticked over the 10 minutes, so as promised, I will just pause, and if anyone has any questions that have been on their mind or things they wanted to ask, either me or the panel, I'll kind of give the chance now. I think we have a running mic, which is awesome. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, Dan can be really fast.
We need to go as quickly as possible. Yeah. So we'll go just in the middle, closest to you, just there.
Can you guys get mic two? Mic two? Can we get? Oh, yeah. Hey, question for David here. If there ever comes a time where you're looking to sell your business, if you don't have a lot of contracts, for reoccurring work, how important is it to have reviews, and what kind of value can that add to the value of your company when it comes time for maybe a sale?
It's a great question. Thanks for the target. For me, I would say it comes right back to, again, we're a lot of us are running commoditized businesses, okay? And so really, I would say the value of your business comes down to what someone would actually pay for it. If you don't have the recurring work, well then you're looking at what you have for inventory and what you have for a client list and how you're getting jobs. And so if you've got a top ranking Google My Business page that you can search in your area, your services, and you're coming up top 3, and you've been coming up top 3 for the last 5 years like we have, I would say it's honestly incalculable. I would say it's worth a couple $100,000, I would say. If someone tried to buy my Google My Business for $200,000 today, I would not sell it because the phone rings every day with inbound business. Does that kind of answer the question?
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, right, contracts or not, your business can still be a sellable asset, all right? So, seamless gutters, roofing, these are one-time things, right? But my business still has an EBITDA value, right? Still has a multiple value, right? So, the contracts is no secret. They definitely add multiples to your EBITDA, right? Like, it's no secret at all. That is a really, really good model. But your business will still have a really valuable, will be a really valuable asset, especially if you're number 1 in your area.
Yeah, awesome. We had another question just down here, yeah.
Yeah, pure speed.
I'm not really into pressure washing. My son is, but I do own a restaurant in Asheville. I'm just curious, like on his behalf, like, I guess it sounds like you really want that review. Like even if you could get it before you leave, like do you think it's like buying that review? Like you say, hey, if you fill that review out now, I have a $50 gift certificate for here. Because I value your time. I know it's going to take time to write that review. And I know if I walk away, sometimes we get too busy and it doesn't happen. Is that something you think you would do, or does it sound like a buying process?
We were more inclined to do that. It's going to sound like a nice job plug, but we were more inclined to incentivize customers to leave on-the-spot reviews. We've done Dunkin' Donuts gift cards, Starbucks, because we needed the immediate review because we knew once we left, we'd be forgotten about. That's why it's so important. Nice job creates the automation for you and the follow-up, and that's actually what's going to get you the review. When the job closes, we have it integrated with Jobber. You don't even need a CRM integration. We got our neighbors who own a home inspection company. They don't have a CRM, but they manually just enter phone numbers and email addresses in Nice Job, and then that creates the automation. So the whole point is take advantage of the automation, whether you have Nice Job or not, because it is very challenging to get that review on the spot. Another component to it is that once you leave, I don't want to say that the customer is completely forgetting about you, but it's almost like the excitement has worn off. And I don't know that with time restraints now, the time spent on the job trying to gather a review on the spot will work in this day and age anymore. And I truly feel like it even did 5 years ago.
I'll quickly jump in for the Canadians. We're very polite. We love to say sorry. We piloted this out years ago. iPad, cellular data, all set up. Please leave the review. We found just a level of awkwardness, and that breached kind of our values of being authentic. And so for us, we tried it. I would love to get the review on the spot. We just found give the Canadians a little bit of their space, run the sequence, and we're getting a review, I would still say within the next week, but usually in the first day or two.
Right. I would also venture to say this might be a little edgy, but if you got to pay for a review, you got to serve better.
Yeah.
I don't even think Google you're allowed to pay for a review, to be honest. I don't think that's allowed.
It's one of those things where we, like, theoretically, the rules of the game is you shouldn't really do that sort of stuff. You know, I know that people do it all over the place. One thing I would say is something that I find or I've heard that works is sharing your goals or your targets in terms of reviews with customers.
Yeah.
Let's say you're trying to get to 100 Google reviews or trying to get to 200, whatever your number it is. You know, you've just been in their house for X number of hours or however long the job is. You've done an amazing service for them. By then, they're on your side. They want to help you out. So by just giving that extra kind of impetus or whatever it takes to kind of, hey, look, this would, just to let them know how much this would help you get towards your goal, I've heard really works. We got time, I think, for one more question.
And just Dave, on behalf of the room, we accept your apology.
Sorry.
That's coming from a Midwesterner too, so that's, who knows what English.
I came in probably 10 minutes late, so if this was addressed early on, I apologize. One man crew here, and I'm very grateful. I just checked, it was 245 Google reviews.
Good job.
But I know, not to sound arrogant or anything, I know that I have a lot more that Google did not calculate, respond to, whatever the terminology is. My customers tell me that they're not being listed. So I don't know if there's a formula for that. I know Google kind of has its own thing going on.
This is a Google glitch. My husband actually resolved this for us. Nice John was aware of it as well, but it was earlier this year. I'm looking at my husband because, so we knew that we were getting a lot more reviews, and on my husband's birthday, he decided to contact Google and work on this, and they unjammed whatever was jammed up, and we got 140 additional Google reviews that day that were backed up. So there is a glitch going on. It is not affiliated with Nice Job, but it's a Google thing, and I would definitely reach out to them because you'll probably get a lot more.
Yeah, I would jump in to say that this is definitely something that we feel because we get customers the whole time like, hey, Nice Job's broken, it's not working. I know I've got all these reviews, they're not showing. So, if that is something that you've struggled against, I would just say get in touch with Google. If you are a Nice Job customer and you suspect this is happening, just reach out to our support team and we can kind of guide you through that process. Because it is unfortunately something that we all depend on Google as this big source of the place where we all need to get their reviews. And obviously every one of these matters. So if you think it's happening, I would just urge you to check in with them.
Can I just squeeze one last thing in? On that point, having a strong GMP is great for search and great to initially get a client in. If there are changes coming in Google in the future, there probably is. If you have your business so dependent on that, you could be in for a rude awakening. I don't know the future of Google, no one in this room does. So we use it top of funnel, bring the client in, and then you want to be nurturing your customers. Again, that's where branding comes in, calling them regularly, checking in with them, and that's going to give your brand a lot of equity when your clients are used to hearing from you. So Google's great, just don't build your house all on one single platform.
Yeah, and I would just say in my last 46 seconds that there is value in diversifying. There's tons of review sites out there. There's Facebook, there's Yelp, there's Homestars, whatever's in your area. And it really makes sense to diversify your reputation across those platforms because you just don't know when somebody's going to be looking through Yelp, looking for a provider. The other thing is if you're doing repeat business and you're going back every year and somebody's already left you a Google review, keep asking them because they can leave you that Facebook review. They can leave you that review on another platform. And you can just kind of get that additional value out of every one of those customer interactions. That is all we have time for today. Thanks everybody for listening so intently.
Yeah.